Hello, hello, and welcome back in. We are here for the Rallycry halftime show, but before that, we have the Turo Key Drive that I want to dive right into because there's a moment in the game where I felt it was very important and kind of signified everything that would happen in the game. It was very early on, though. That is the one thing, and it was this big fight. Like, you talked about it in the cast, Cubby, that it seemed a little early from Zeyzal with the Magnet Storm. But it was perfect because they were able to pop Will, and then what can AOE do after that? They just have nothing they can really fight back with, and to me, that moment was when the game just broke open wide for DSG.
Yeah, it was early for the Rumble ult combo, but it was at the perfect time to split the fight, split AOE, and as you called out, nothing really that AOE could do in that team fight, and really nothing that AOE was able to do in that game, as Deserux looks like Concept had a lot of fun that game, based on this graph. That's tough.
Yeah, that was really rough for him. It was really rough for Will as well.
Well, okay, Will's playing normally a support anyways.
Yeah, but we wanted to see Will as part of the checklist on something that can engage alongside Breezy, and this wasn't really it. It didn't really get the team fights going, as you saw in that Dragon fight where they just pretty much gave up so much gold right over to DSG early on.
Yeah, I mean, and you can see where the damage is. Well, yes, you have a Jinx on the team, you have an NACL, you're like, oh, they gotta do so much damage. Then you look at Fake God, and you're like, oh my goodness. That is nearly, what, 8 times the amount of damage that that Concept did?
I'm gonna need Disguised to become a $1 billion org so they can get Fake God a flamethrower and just have him, like, setting Toast on fire, you know? Because I feel like that's all he did is the Rumble this game.
Yep, and with that, it was a pretty clean win for the most part. They just absolutely crushed.
Clean, man.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you're hoping from this team. Like, when we talk about DSG, 3 of the 5 members from the victorious Spring Champions of Cloud9 Challengers, this is the kind of level that we're looking for them all season long here, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, at what was it? The first round robin, we had the meme going on where it's like DSG only play ties and that's it. Yep. Like, they'll get one tie and then a 2-0 or an 0-2. But, you know, we expected a little bit more from a championship team. A lot of people had this team ranked very, very highly. And then finally, as we're heading into playoffs, as we're heading into the last weeks of the round robin, we start to see what this team is really made of. And I think this was a bit of a capstone on some of the growth that this team has gone through.
Yeah, funnily enough, so in their last 8 games of regular season, they went 7-1. They 2-0'd Fear, Wildcard, and EG. And funnily enough, split with Supernova. So
I know, wild, isn't it? Wild. They are
I'm never
a wild
surprised
team.
by that anymore.
Yeah, so like honestly, Disguise, again, I really felt like the checklist we talked about earlier on, they are forming an identity. I think that's serving Disguise really well. And they are a team that I think really has come into their own for playoffs at the time where, again, 3 out of these 5 members are defending champions from Spring. So really good to see out of Disguise as they continue to prove that they are a team you got to worry about at the top of the table.
All right, but let's get into the fun bit, right? The Rallycry halftime show, so we can kill some time while the players get ready for their second game of the day here. But getting into this one, I'll be honest, I had another thing planned, and my face has really been hurting. For those that don't know, I had a tooth extracted and an implant put in not too long ago. So I decided to go with something a little easier, and that was to make you two suffer alongside me. And that is the Unfair Quiz Show with Magical Part 2. So, yeah, as you can see, Eric is very happy about this one. You did tie last time, Eric. You tied.
Okay, fair.
Come on, good
Still
mental
winnable.
here,
It's still
Eric.
winnable. It's still winnable. I'm
Good
back. I'm
mental.
back.
Good
I'm back.
mental.
Let's do it.
You're right. All right. So let's get into question 1. Ready?
Ready.
So what ability of Rumble's I got the first blood? The auto attack.
Electric harpoon.
Are you sure about that?
I'm sure about it. I'm 100% sure.
All right, well, let's run the replay then. Let's run the replay so that we can see exactly which one happened for that first blood and see if you both are right. Here we go. Flame Spitter. He's overheating now. Auto, flash, auto. Auto.
And badunk.
Boom. Points for each of you. You are correct. Fake God was able to get the solo bowl of first blood with electric
Good
harpoon.
job, play-by-play, Eric.
All right.
I mean, see, the cover caster would say, oh, you know, the overheat got the kill, but it was the harpoon that got it. So it
was.
Well done, Eric. Well done.
Cubby is my life coach now. Got me back in the positive mental. We're already getting the first point in. Let's go.
There you go. You got the first point. Eric, you should feel proud of yourself. You got the first point, which is usually the easiest of the questions.
This is a non-sarcastic pat on the back this time. Let's go.
All right, so let's get into question 2, shall we? Who was the first player to hit 100 CS?
Ouch. I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and say Fake God.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and say Dark Wings.
Well, if we pull up this, ding, 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 Cubby gets the point. It was Dark Wings. And in fact, after he was able to hit this, that's when they dropped the Rift Herald mid lane. It was just after the 10-minute mark, and they were able to get all those plates, if you recall. So, sorry, Eric. You didn't get any points. You're now down a point again.
Yeah.
Inspiration, please, Cubby. Where are you?
All right, but we're gonna try to blitz through these because we don't have very much longer. I want to make sure that we get ready for the game. So, what turret was the first one of the game to fall? This is now an easy one. I'm giving you a gimme point.
It's
an easy one.
I want to say top. Yeah.
Top outer in favor of DSG.
Okay.
Yeah.
Top outer. Well.
Was it mid outer in favor of AOE?
It was no. You're 2 over 2. It was bot lane. It was Young taking it. Remember, with a TP down to the bot lane to get the kill on concept underneath the turret that they had lost the Rift Herald play on. That's when he was able to get the first turret of the game. So sorry, no points for either of you. Again, we're just gonna move. We're gonna move forward. We're gonna move forward because we don't have that much time.
Move forward, please.
So how many players did Zeyzal hit with the Magnet Storm at the 4th dragon of the game, the fight for that?
3. Join me, Eric. It's 3.
3. Positive mental. Positive mental.
Do not count Saya going up in the air. There was still a part that Winx caught.
I'm in the Matrix. Why don't we run the replay while I'm in the Matrix?
Positive mental.
Give me a 3B.
Positive mental.
That.
1, 2. It was 2 people.
But Concept stuck into the end?
No, he did not. It did not pull him in at all. He was not CC'd.
He was in it. He was in it.
He was in it after it had already timed out.
Said who was in the Magnets.
Yeah, so it's Lynx and Will. No points for either of you. Let me check the timer, see how we're doing. Yeah, we don't have time for the last one. So I'll just put this out. I'll ask you this question while you guys go into it. No, you don't get the point, Cubby. It's unfair. That's the point. So last question is, who was the first person to die on DSG? And a bonus point if you can get it right. I'm going to let you two think about it as you guys get us into draft for
DSG?
our second game. Yes, for DSG. So get us in the game, and you guys think about
Winx
it.
was not it. Winx was the first person to die in the game. Who was the only person that went down on DSG that game?
Oh, man, I can't remember.
What do you guys, Zeyzal? Just support fodder, you know?
I can't remember. I'm so done. I'm so done with this halftime shows. Magical. I know where you live. I'm. Oh yeah, you do know where I live. Okay. Focusing on the game so I can just get over our halftime shows and my frustration at Magical and the safety that is you, of course, Cubby.
Is it bad if I'm scrolling through Twitter to find what the right answer is and I can't find it? All right, it was Zeyzal. All right, we did get it. All right, see, support fodder, guys.
I like how you said we. I like how you said we. That's why you're the GOAT, Cubby.
No, team effort up here, Eric. As we got to get into game 2 to see which team can come out on top, put a better team effort up on themselves, as I expect Will to take Sejuani.
I have the memory of a goldfish. That's all I'm going to say right there. 2 marksman bands coming out from DSG. They're going to take it with the Tristana Kindred. See if the Sejuani actually gets left up right here. Would be a good grab. Denies it away from Tomio, one of his best champions, alongside that Maokai that he's played so much of.
I think you just ban Kaisa. Give them Sejuani. You can play into Sejuani. There are things you can actually play into Sejuani. Okay. You take away the Sejuani. No Sej for Will. Kaisa, Rel, both on the board. Both going to be passed up on for the Rakan. DSG have the ability to take both Kaisa and Rel here if they want, which makes for an ever so flexible red side draft. Seen a lot of teams do this. And would not be surprised to see them pick that up now.
So with that first lock-in, still allows Breezy to play some form of engage, which I always want Breezy on. Throughout the entirety of the season, he has been one of those major engagers. Once the draft gets back to AOE, that's where I want to see the same thing locked in for Will. As DSG are going to start to grab their bottom lane, they'll lock in the Xayah.
I think we're going to see Rel here, too. Tomio can play it in the jungle, so it is a flex for DSG. Just wanted to deny Xayah Rakan. As Oh my, this would be a lot of priority put on the Rumble. Assuming, I mean, this is a good read from DSG because while Rel is such high priority overall in draft for a lot of teams, there has yet to be a game that we have seen on stage where Will has played Rel jungle. So I think DSG is going to try and pick up Rel in the back half of this draft. And we'll see if AOE actually denies it and if Will can play the Rel jungle now or if they give that one away.
And I just get excited seeing Fake God on the Rumble once again. This time, AOE can get something at least a little bit more favorable, especially if they grab it before we head into the second phase of the draft. But Fake God had excellent placements on those equalizers that would ruin the day of AOE. But now Concept is allowed on that champion that pretty much has his best win rate, the Scion. 6 games, has a 4.5 KDA, can be that brick wall. And the one that Magical wanted to see logged in, the name of AOE, Ziggs for Lynx.
Wow, so this is a pick that AOE really pioneered in Challengers, was the Trist mid, Ziggs bottom. That I feel like was really strong for AOE. Now, the answer that we have seen to a lot of Ziggs is actually the Seraphine bot. We are not going to see that in this game, as of course Xayah is showing, but oh boy, you know what made it through all the way of pick ban. Now it is 13-14, so likely that we do not see the Shiv LeBlanc, but LeBlanc is available, and the ability for Young to go past the Scion and try to harass this Ziggs, I really like LeBlanc into Ziggs. I feel like you can one-shot him later in the game and get around those minefields. So DSG will be trying to use the over-the-top damage of the Rumble and LeBlanc to find that. Also, I just realized, Destructs, I was talking so much about Rel in the early game, and it was banned on 3. So, Mad Magical just got in my head for the Impossible Quiz.
Walls.
I have broken down. I was like, where is Rel? And pick ban. And it's just, it was staring right at me this whole time. I'm going to drink coffee now because I'm disappointed with myself.
I got you. I'm happy about this LeBlanc pick because even with the changes that we have to Static Shiv, not going to be bought, so that means you're still going to itemize more for the AP route, which means your burst is going to be up there. You're not as much of a side laner, so that plays to Young wanting to just demolish this Ziggs, take this Ziggs off the map and not allow that poke to go through. Final ban away is going to be the Lee Sin out of AOE. Interesting one. DSG, their next pick.
Maybe that's setting up for Will to go Viego, as that is one of the answers that we see. At the moment, support counter to Rakan likely. We have seen Zeyzal really like the Renata into this. That is not necessarily, there's not enough engage to actually commit to that, so it's going to be the Amumu, which is technically a flex pick between Tomio and Zeyzal. We saw Ayla answer Rakan with Amumu earlier in the week for Evil Geniuses LCS. That worked out really well for them in that match on the LCS stage, and now a technical flex for Tomio and Zeyzal going into the last pick. Very curious, and something that can hold people in place for that Rumble wall.
And this will be played for the first time for DSG, but I know you're excited to talk about this one. Just got buffed up, the Lissandra hitting the Rift for AoE.
All right, we're gonna go skip to the list portion of the patch here that I have on my second monitor. Qs now slow all enemies hit, which is a huge change, and the passive, it has better priority in who it chooses. It also follows enemies into brushes, which is a big deal as it didn't do that beforehand. And enemies can see it in fog, so that's good. But it's quite the change as, okay, we see Trundle, so taking away the resistances from the Scion, and traditionally a decent matchup into the Viego that we predicted. So it's all about mid-jungle duo here for the side of AoE. They need to get Will resets and need to get him rolling, because if not, they do not have a traditional marksman, and the Sonder damage will fall off later in the game. So a lot of early game showing for AoE. We'll see if they can take the turrets and snowball things fast enough, while DSG, big team fight, play off of Amumu ults with Rumble, and see if you can lock down AoE and take them down.
AoE in a position where they need to get the win right now if they want to continue this series and stay in the upper bracket. DSG, after that clean first game that we had, it looks great for them, but this is the thing about AoE though. This is going to be the take that I wanted a little bit more from them. Will to have much more agency. Sure, he's not on an engager, but he can play that carry position this time. He's not going to be raising up the other players like he said in the past. This time, he will be the one taking center stage.
Yeah, I really want to see if that, can end up cashing in this time around, Destructs. I feel like very much needed in this series, as at the moment DSG find themselves up 1-0, and we've seen what Fake God can do on this Rumble. It's a pretty big pick for Disguised.
Pretty big pick, and pretty great performance so far in this series as they head into game number 2. Impressive to have Disguised pull off what they've done so far, especially being our first content creator team within the NACL. And the players that they were able to grab, 3 championship players as well as 2 players with a lot of potential on their hands in both Meech and Young. Put the scrap right now, both Bandage Toss is going to be used to get some good chip damage out. DSG continue their momentum and try and walk a road that's pretty familiar for 3 of these members on last spring.
Minions have spawned.
Stop the base of Breezy, so he's going to have to live with that. Yep, pops the potion, can't get back on time. Not bad for the side of DSG. I do also want to highlight more of the Sandra changes, Deserux. Keep in mind that self-cast on R gives you a lot more healing. The AP ratio was increased by 0.3. That's a lot. Also, they changed how it interacts with dashes when you throw R down on someone, and it's more lockdown. There aren't as many things that you can buffer through the Sandra ult, so that will be something to look out for as Lissandra. I think a pick that got a lot of quality of life changes on this patch, and one that I am excited to see, as we'll see if AOE can utilize this Viego to the fullest. This is a combo that very good in League of Legends, and oh boy.
Zazel really bringing the hurt in with these bandage tosses and forcing the bot lane of AOE, making them suffer a little bit, forcing them to back off. I mean, big Zazel on deck. He always brings a big performance, but he's got big words to say as well as we pull that up.
Honestly, I'd say I think their bot lane actually did pretty well against Meech and I, and obviously, like, I don't want that to happen, so I'd say they did well in that regard. And if I'm not mistaken, they also kind of picked tanks into our top matchups, and we were having a hard time there dealing with tanks for a while. But now we've kind of gotten over that, so let's say they overperformed the draft a little bit compared to us too.
Ooh, Zane drafted. Is that a Cope Cubby, or we got some legitimacy right there?
It is something where I really feel like AOE's actually set some of the meta in Challengers this split. It's been part of their resurgence. They had the worst record in the first round robin. Really came into their own in the second round robin and make the 6th seed. A lot of that was built around the Ziggs and Mages bot, combining that with Tristana. We even had Darklings playing Ezreal. He's one of the more early people to be playing Kai'Sa mid, not just into the Shiv LeBlanc. So I think that Zazel was correct in giving AoE some credit to areas where I felt like they were really strong earlier in the season. Something where AoE, again, coming in with a different approach, utilizing the Lissandra that saw a lot of positive changes on this patch, pairing it up with Viego, a champ that Will historically has been very good at, a combo that historically has been very good.
Trying to stay ahead of the curve is AOE, as they have this Lissandra. Tomio shows up, but very hard to interrupt that claw that comes out from Lissandra to get her over to safety. Now Will is the one in the mid lane. He's trying to shove in this wave to make sure Darklings can have a safe recall.
Darkling's gonna hopefully walk back as Tomio trades out that crab. Everyone is resetting for mid jungle. Clean map so far. Rumble has pushed. That's very much expected for DSG. So no surprises quite yet. That's right.
Nothing of it. Nothing of it. Still in the early stages, and this game did play a little bit on the slower side when we did have it in game number 1. I still think this is going to be the better of the 2 games so far. In fact, I wouldn't use the B word just yet. I wouldn't say I intend for this to be a banger, but I just get excited when I see AoE making moves like this with Lissandra, with the Viego, or even going back to tried and true picks like the Ziggs.
Yeah, I'm honestly just like curious to see how this plays out, right? Because there are a lot of unknown quantities. I don't really know how the list matchup plays out into this iteration of LeBlanc. More self-healing kind of helps, but like LeBlanc, how you play out this matchup, a lot of it's just lose push, then you just try and play out on your chain rain. Whereas at the moment, Young doing a pretty decent job of at least contesting things with Darklings. And then also, I mean, this is going to be interesting to see what the Colonel can do into Sion, because we do have a play attempted. Young, chain goes wide. But Tomio is here on the spot to hover. Young gonna continue to be able to push up and drop Qs into the Lissandra, which it looks like Young is actually maxing first.
And that's what you were saying, Cubby, as we were in the Champion Select, that we expect this to basically hover around the mid and jungle, both of these squads, and we're kind of getting that already. Tomio, any visits in the mid lane, same thing coming out for Will thus far. And should be a rather tighter matchup. Lissandra was one of those like classical counters to LeBlanc. Now a fight breaking out in the bottom lane, looking for the knockup. Will force out the flash from Meech. Snare able to land onto Tomio, knocks him to just above 200 health. AOE burning out one of the summoner spells of the bot lane of DSG.
DSG's bot lane got an early win as Lynx TP'd back without having access to the Lost Chapter, but that's a win back now for AOE. They force Meech back and will utilize that to secure the first dragon for themselves. An Ocean Dragon, which can really help AOE in the laning phase, which, again, important for AOE, as this is a comp that later on, they will get outscaled by the fact that DSG, they just have a traditional marksman, and AOE does not. So that DPS will be really tough for them to play against. They're going to have to do a good job of balancing out that fire, making sure they're taking clean engages and getting Viego resets if they want to contest a disguise later.
Will on Viego can get in a position to carry. Just depends how this game does play out and how much he can impact. Mid game as already a snare comes through. Bandage toss will land onto Lynx, excuse me, as Zeyzal forces the flash. He's gonna have to flash right out of this. Now Meech able to get the snare through, chasing onto both Breezy, chasing onto Lynx. But Will showing up in the top side. They do spot him. They have a ward right there, but the control ward stops it from going through. Now Zeyzal, first blood picked up by Meech. Zeyzal, beautiful bandage toss. He's gonna look for another one to clean up. Lynx needs to land it, but the double kill comes in time from Will.
Meanwhile, top side, a gank onto the Scion, as it looks like Tomio was able to stuff Scion all with a pillar. That goes over to the skies, so trades across the map. And gotta give some credit to Meech and Zeyzal. Meech stepping up there against the Zig was able to pump out so much damage. They at least made that trade somewhat even on the bot side.
Somewhat even, but it all goes awry into the top side where DSG are able to get a kill right on back. And we saw what happened last time. Fake God getting income. That income goes straight over to the equalizer that he places in a lot of these fights. And with the draft that you have from AOE, they will be looking for some skirmish. DSG getting that for Fake God, gonna feel good.
All right, let's see where Tomio drops this pillar, as I'm expecting a face plant. Oh, I don't know how the Scion ult was burned. Maybe it's just because he's dead. Yeah, he's got it back.
Yeah.
All right, he just never used
it.
Yeah, I saw it down to the tops. I was like, is there no sound effect? That was kind of weird. That could be the case. All eyes, though, have to be on Will Deserex, as it was a trade, a 2-for-2 across the map from each team. But for Will, he's got both those kills. This is the Lissandra Viego combo as we were setting up. He has to get the first reset in these fights. DSG wants to have a chance. And again, Will, one of the stronger players we feel like are on AOE as an individual. So all eyes on Will for this fight, as Young might be in trouble.
Oh, Darkwing's going in, able to find the tome
Nice.
right onto the Amumu, and 4 members of AOE collapse right for it. It's a 3rd kill going over to Will.
That's a great execute coming out from AOE. Concept rotated all the way around. He will sack that wave top to make the play, but I think that's well worth it, as a couple ults used by AOE, but still able to get a pick, able to get on out of there. And AOE making some good plays early in a game where they really have to, Deserex, so credit to them.
I would love to see a game where we actually have Will putting on the carry pants and really just dominating this. And with 3 kills early, that's the right direction for AOE to make that a reality. I do like the way Darkwings has been facilitating some of these fights. It kind of throws me back to Evil Geniuses from last spring when they would do that with Robbie Bob and Shaden. Very, very similar. It's the same thing. Mid laner, Lissandra, holds down these members, gets Will to pop off.
Yeah, that was the week, too, where they ran the gauntlet of the 3 teams that combined for 7 wins, and didn't realize how bad they were until the end of the split. That was quite a fun week from Shaden, as it was Viego Central. But now, in summer, the summer of Will, the summer child, Deserex, set up for success. 3-0, invading, getting up into the face of this Trundle, who is on the top side. Herald has been secured. Will trying to trade it out for camps on his own, the bot side. Will do so successfully.
Puts it away. walks without issue. Antonio is still focused onto that top side. Yeah, the Summer Child will, someone who we call that because we see this guy almost like exclusively in summer. Wasn't even in last spring.
Not almost.
Oh, okay, exclusively.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Be confident, that's right. You're right.
I mean, from his time in Dignitas, his time in 100 Thieves, it's always been summer tier 2. Will shows up to the fray. Of course, Will has been an incredible talent in the past. 4th place finish for 100 Thieves Academy. The last time we did see him on the Rift back when it was Proving Grounds.
I will say that was the true final. So, that's all I'll say there. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Really
All right. There we go.
Say this at the same time that we have Fake God, Tomio, and Zazel here.
Well, they're just a little bit of a party in mid in the Dark Wings. I'm going to throw down that Herald. Would you play in the wave clear mids like this in the LB? 2 Heralds to take that tower can sometimes be really nice. That looks to be the play here from Tomio. Can get a little bit of gold on a Young. Actually gets ulted.
Yeah, ultimate goes down onto Tomio. Tomio can get some resistances, but it's not that much coming out from either Breezy or Darkwing, so they will melt him down and the Trundle falls.
And a great setup. You can see some of the execution coming out here from AOE. And again, this is the team that, with the Ziggs, they've been playing this pick the longest in the bot lane. I think we're seeing some of that come to fruition here, Deserex, as that was a really nice combo from across the map to take down Tomio. Just trying to get one more plate in the pocket of Young. A little bit too far forward on AoE. Take what's given to them. Get another kill.
They get the dragon stacking going as well. With that second Drake, we're going to have a dragon map. And a slight lead coming out for AoE 12 minutes into this right now. So far, so good. Would like to see more plates taken quite soon, especially because you do have the Ziggs. Just the pressure coming out from the bot lane. It was a big surprise to see what Zazel was going to pull off onto this Amumu and how aggressive actually going to play this 2v2.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of the Bandage Sauce level 1. I think Zazel did a nice job of it now. Yeah, you have level 6, but it's a lot more weakness in lane, a lot more strength in fights.
Featherstorm comes out, but Breezy has a chance to engage.
Wow.
Tries to find it. Didn't have the ultimate that time, so it allows Meech to escape with his flash.
I still love that from AoE, though. Just like bleeding out summoner spells. That's not something they can revisit. Alt, very long cooldown on Xayah at rank 1. And they got the flash, too. So, again, AoE just playing smart League of Legends, right? Yeah. Utilize the priority. You have Will somewhere. Breezy able to get a couple summoner spells out, working with Will. This is really when we have seen AoE at their best, when Will and Breezy are able to work together and make plays. It's part of the reason why the Ziggs is so good for AoE, because it does enable Lynx to kind of be on his lonesome, manage waves, and gets Breezy out on the map where he can really excel.
All right, but now Breezy and Lynx in a tight spot. Tomio tries to put down the pillar, but easy escape for the AoE bottom lane. They both have their summoner spells available. So unfortunately, even though Will is able to find summoners left and right, can't say the same for Tomio as the bot lane holds true.
These guys are going to have to really take their time here with any sort of game plan they have on the Rift. A lot of it's going to come down to Amumu plus Rumble combos. Going back to some Season 2 League of Legends here, Deserex.
Yeah, don't remind me. I've already been called out for being old once.
I'm not doing that. It's more wisdom, Deserex. Come on. We can lean on what we learned in the past to help us here.
That's why we procrastinate our clips, to be as wise as possible when we turn them in.
Yeah. I love that reasoning, actually. I'm sure our boss does, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure she's rooting for us
every single midnight. Have you ran that by her?
I have. And I didn't get the response I was looking for.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, she, I don't know. She always gives us the impression that she's going to beat us bloody. And in situations like we had in that game number 1 where DSG were able to stomp onto AoE. What reflections of that, Cody?
Oh, well. We'll see if Concept can maybe, beat this outer turret bloody. Because guess what? Lynx is coming. That's a Demolish plus a potential Satchel. Looks like it's not even needed. Dark Wings and Concept just going to power play this one down. We have a shift of power on the map. Herald is about to spawn on the top side, but it is AoE ahead of the play on the bot side. They take the outer turret for themselves. Now, TP from Concept actually can test this top turret, so good Scion macro coming out from Concept. utilizing the TP, the cross map to defend this, and now diving Scion's scary. DSG are thinking about it.
Yeah, but it is a trundle. You can steal away those resistances. Tomio's eating a little bit too much damage before he can even pop that R, so Concept gets the better of the trade.
I feel like Concept kind of mind controlled Tomio to go for that dive. I'm gonna be real. That wasn't very good. Perhaps the Concept for pulling the wave, but DSG pushing way too far forward. And now, that was the play that they tried to answer. It failed, so AOE gets another turn on the map to do something here, Destructs. They're making good use out of it as Lynx already gets this turret nearly pretty much one wave away from Satchel Charge range. And AOE, just like that, every outer turret is under siege by them as they push this gold lead forward.
This gold is going to explode for AOE right now because, look, they're even grabbing a Rift Herald, so they have more that they can take on the map if they're able to get this to crash into a tower and take that as well. They're taking it at a timely pace because 35 seconds left before the dragon comes up. That would also set AOE to Soul Point, so it seems like all the pieces are falling into place for Area of Effect gold.
And a lot of it's off the back of this Ziggs. They're just playing some damn good Ziggs macro. You know, it's good to see. As, again, AOE Lynx, this was really the team that was credited by other teams in our league for innovating the Ziggs pick, being one of the early adapters. Not only of the Ziggs pick, but also apparently the Seraphine pick that we started to see in response to Ziggs behind the scenes. So this is a champ that this team knows really well, and they're really proving it in this game. It's great to see.
DSG got to be careful. It's Dark Wings on Lissandra. If you misstep, if you don't play with this vision right, that's the only lockdown that's really needed to snowball the kills in favor of AOE. But DSG are going to look for a fight of their own underneath the tower, able to get the equalizer. It is beautiful from Fakon, but the tower has now fallen. Now trying to retreat is going to be DSG. A double kill picked up by Meech as he puts down the Featherstorm, and it's a trade 2 for nothing as DSG answer back onto AOE.
It was a big re-engage from Breezy onto DSG, but the damage was already done early on by Fake God and Zeyzal as the ult flash from Zeyzal. That even caught me off guard up here, Desiree. I'm looking down on the map like, whoa, all right, we're going to go for this. Is your mid tower is going to fall? Ended up being somewhat worth it for the side of DSG.
Look at this, Tomio starting up the Drake. Will and Concept are in the area. Will at full health. The rest of DSG now trying to funnel in towards this Dragon area. You do have Young over the wall. Zeyzal walking up. Young will distort through. Gotta be careful with where Lynx is. If Young spots out Lynx, he will blow up this Ziggs. Dragon under attack. Will's trying to get close.
Will doesn't have ult. That's the tricky thing for me right now.
Oh, it's going to go down. How fast can he be? No, secure Dragon's Soul Point going over to AoE, but the fight now being called by DSG. They go right after Concept, able to stop the onslaught. Now Concept will have to just walk out. Dark Wings waiting for the claw to come off cooldown, forced to use the ultimate on himself to buy some time. Gets caught out by Zeyzal, health too low. Young capitalized it, a kill traded back as Will go on a rampage, but the flamethrower burning onto him. Will trying to look for the clutch, finds it onto Meech. A shutdown found for Will. The Summer Child will tear down Fake God, and Will clutches it out for AoE.
That was a slow fight from AoE, but Will, you called that out. He clutched the hell up, and God, did he have to or what in that one as DSG were bleeding out everything. Oh, they continue to bleed out Lynx.
Ooh. That's the fear of the LeBlanc right there. Finds the Ziggs. Goodbye.
Will 5-0-1. The hopes of AoE lie on his shoulders for this game. I was a little bit scared of that fight initially because Will didn't have that ultimate up yet.
Yeah.
But after the first reset, was able to re-secure that one for himself. And then the Viego, we can see what this is able to do. We're going to take another look. Lynx, this is a great find from Young, first off, just forcing Ziggs off, getting him away from this fight. Concept and taken very low. Great bandage toss by Zeyzal to get that ultimate. Who stopped? Darkwing stuck in the pit. Look at how slow this fight gets played out. Darkwing's just buying time, trying to get cooldowns up. But when Will picks his spot, it's sound. Breezy, able to combine. Will gets the first reset, gets over the wall, and then it's just ult on the Meech. He knows that Meech has no sums from that last fight that we saw mid to actually set this one up. Good ult, or flash, I should say, from Fake Out to try and get around the feathers. But it's not enough. Will takes him down. And this Viego is so damn fed, Destructs. DSG has to be very wary of wherever Will's going to be on the map.
In that game, that last play could have flipped on a dime. Will the awareness to know where the feathers were and position away from where he would have been rooted to put that pressure onto Meech. It was a great performance from Will. This is why he gets hyped up so much, not just as a team player, but as an individual performer.
He's got the hands, man. That's never been a question with Will. It's just really how much can he grow into his own as a jungler, where it is a role where you really have a lot on your shoulders of how you dictate the map, dictate the play. I think that we have seen Will continue to grow as he becomes a jungler with more and more direction about what he wants to do in these games. And now all the direction for AOE has to be off the back of this vehicle because, again, AOE, they don't have that traditional marksman that we're used to seeing, Destructs. They are going to get outscaled in the later stages by Meech's Xayah. So pushing now, making sure that Will's the one getting resets is really going to be key for AOE success.
5, 0, and 1. Trinity Force completed. Almost done with the second item. And now AOE in the jungle of DSG, pushing them out of this red side. DSG can only watch for the time being. Aaron is up and available, but here comes the combo looking to go through with the equalizer. It finds a shutdown onto Will. The damage is gone for AOE, and you're feeling the burn of Fake God. Darkwing's in the middle of all 5. It's a triple kill for Fake God as he will burn them down and chase AOE away from their jungle, saying, "This is our territory. Get the hell out."
Will might be 5-0-1, but the curse of the sad mummy is the bane of existence if you're an assassin. Zeyzal able to connect that with the equalizer. The jungler burns, and now Baron will fall in favor of Disguise.
Baron over to DSG. We're going to have 2 comeback games. Are you kidding me right now, Cubby? But this is this choke point. This is the danger of fighting in the jungle against a Rumble.
Oh, it's just a beautiful advantage toss from Zeyzal. That chain onto Will, that was enough to take him down as Fake God does so much damage. The magic damage buff that Amumu gives as well, able to synergize, as it is a little bit of a heavy magic damage composition from Disguise, but they don't really care. They just melted through Disguise. Turo Baron buff secured. And yeah, Disguise, they're cruising, man. AOE, that was it. I don't want to say it was a last breath scenario, but Meech picks up more items now. That's going to be really dangerous for AOE, and if Meech is able to step up and free fire, that's where things get very scary if you are an AOE fan.
AOE thought they were in the driver's seat, but in choke points, Rumble does Rumble things, and that equalizer will melt your squad, beautifully timed with his crowd control that DSG have drafted. Dragon spawns in the next 15 seconds. AOE are trying to find the first foot in there, but Young's already taking a path to gain control of this Dragon Pit, and DSG getting closer and closer to that Dragon Soul point. Oh, here we go, able to back off. Meech trying to escape. Mega Inferno Bomb goes down. Meech at about half health as the equalizer is found. Curse of the Sad Mummy! The beard will bring down the pain and lock up AOE as Concept into the zombie mode falls. There are more feathers flying from Meech as they set their sights onto Will. Darkwings looks for the outplay, but he doesn't have an ultimate. He doesn't have a chance. Will die to Young, and it's 3 fallen by the wayside as DSG find another team fight win.
I love how DSG, Zeyzal, they wait out the first bandage toss. There's no Curse of the Sad Mummy until they know it's going down. Him and Fake God are on the same page in this game, Destructs. It really showed and paid off in that last fight.
It paid off oh so well. This draft, how well it synergizes this Wombo combo. You had alluded to it, Cubby, about Curse of the Sad Mummy and Equalizer going together. Man, you put up the pillar, and now you're forced to walk even slower around all this zone control, all this damage of DSG. It's ripping AoE asunder.
And this is a little bit of a different look from DSG, too. We talked about kind of the narrower focus. It still is, and it's not a melee for Young. It's still an assassin, you know. It feels like a comfort zone for him. But Tomio on the Trundle, yeah, it's a supportive pick, but in a much different way. They're still finding ways to play around this Rumble pick that DSG is making look so damn strong as Fake God. He's been the big carry of this game, Destructs. And we put so much focus on setting up Young and Meech for success because they can pay it back if they do get through the early game, given how well each of these younger players team fight. But Fake God, man, he's been a beast in the series.
Yeah. And he wants to get back to the top echelon of competition. He will do it right now in Tier 2, showing just how good of a player he actually is. These teams can't sleep on him. Engage coming out for AOE.
Oh, no,
is it a last chance to be found? Able to flash away is going to be Meech. He's trying to run away from Breezy, but one kill gets picked up. Zeyzal falling. Here comes Young. Wants to find Darkwings. Can't get onto him. Meech is threatened. Meech will find the kill. Will goes down. Concept critically low. Here comes Tomio. Young hops in. Only the clone gonna follow on the chase, and 2 fall once again, but finally AOE able to match the deaths. No, they'll lose Concept. It's a kill lead for DSG and a tower taken in their name.
Honestly, that was the best look from AOE in the last few fights because Fake God wasn't there and they were so close to taking down Meech. Will died mid Heartbreaker. If that connected, Meech had no spells left. He would have fallen. It would have been the reset going over to Will, and that marksman would have been taken out. Yes, he fell later, but if Will was able to survive, it would have been critical for the side of AOE and making sure that they could try and pull out this fight as we go again. The idea is to force as Rumble showing mid. The Rumble shows mid. Will we send it? First Sad Mummy comes down to peel. Meech ends up going airborne and flashing away from the Ziggs ult as he doesn't get locked down. And then keep your eyes on Will. He's going to get a reset on the Zeyzal. He's going to go in and try to take down Meech as, yeah, the Heartbreaker connects. He gets another one, though, as he didn't burn the original ult. That's when he goes down. So if that connects, that would have been the big key. The double Viego ult, if that actually would have gotten the Xayah down, maybe there's a chance where AOE can come back in the fight, but no dice, and Meech continues to be fed. He actually went for a Hex Drinker to try and dodge out on all the damage he's facing from the Ziggs and the Wassandra. Could be DPSing very soundly, too, as DSG kept their eyes on the Baron. Does spawn in a minute. They want total control of that topside river as they want to prevent AOE any chances of getting back in this game.
And DSG, what a phenomenal response to make sure that Meech was going to be A-OK. Even Tomio blocking the ultimate of Concept. I was surprised at just how deep AOE were going to try and take down Meech and still coming up empty-handed. And now this is the spot for DSG. They're in the driver's seat. They control the Rift. They're dominating right now. Baron spawns in the next 40 seconds. And what is the answer for AOE? What do they have left in the tank to really fight back with? If you're funneled into these choke points, Fake God will claim you and Meech will tear you apart.
Nice satchel charge from Lynx to get over that pillar. Tomio tried to lock him in. And that's a great call, because AoE's comp, Destructs, they want to play from ahead. They want to have Ziggs on your side of the map, able to drop minefields and bouncing bombs to prevent DSG from walking through those chokes. But instead, it's Ziggs that has to play and throw his skill shots into River, where there's so much more room for this guy to dodge. It's really tough for Ziggs to operate when you aren't ahead in these games. And we're really seeing AoE suffer, just given that they can't control the map with Ziggs, and then they have this big marksman on DSG that they lack themselves because they went the Ziggs to try and free fire back. It's really tough right now.
This might be AoE going for their last stand right now. Lynx did just buy a death cap and instantly teleported back into the mid lane. So looking to contest around this Baron where DSG were setting up. Instead, DSG just pull away.
There's no pressure for DSG to fight this, and while this is going on, Young's actually splitting in the bot side, so he's on the bot Hamburg turret at the moment. Darklings is grouped up, hidden on a control ward, but it is spotted now as, oh boy, Darklings.
Oh, he stopped the claw. He stopped the claw. Darklings is caught out. He was forced to use the ultimate onto himself. He's going to buy time with the Hourglass, but this is damage not going towards the rest of DSG as the Equalizer cut off the escape route. Breezy in a world of hurt gets taken down by his old teammate Meech, and now DSG take 2 and say the Baron belongs in the name of Disguised.
Any miracle steal for Will? That's got to be the only way that AoE gets back in this one, but look at the bot wave. It's actually hitting the bot inhibitor right now. Will is dealing with that himself. It will be a free Baron going over to DSG, and that's got to be the last hope, the last chance for AoE in this one, as Darkwings too far away from his team, and once he got caught, even with all the time he could buy in the Sunder, there was no play for AoE.
Turo Baron buff picked up by DSG, and now the Stranglehold is about to reach the 10k point. Dragon is spawning, but this is not something AoE even want to really fight over. It's not a Dragon Soul point. There's not much you can really find redemption from. This is going to be the long con if you're looking for an Elder, and that is time you do not have, Cubby.
And And this is the scary part of the game if you are Lynx, because Young just finished Death Cap and has the blue pot running. So Young's going to do a lot of poke damage if he is able to find the Ziggs. But at the moment, AOE are the ones that have control. They're going to try and play around the Ziggs poke, try and take this one for themselves. They kind of have to flip things at this point. Yeah, Fake God, if he gets that Equalizer off, it's going to be big.
It's really big right now. It's
AOE.
AOE.
This is dangerous.
Does look like they're going to secure this. No, here it goes. Curse of the Sad Mummy goes down, and you're in the Equalizer. Pulled right back into burn! Even with the bomb going through, it is done. It is dusted. It is over. It is DSG hunting down Lynx and finding their victory as they want to proceed to round number 2. Let's put an exclamation point on it and splat this rat DSG disguise. Toast, are you watching? Is this the 2-0 you wanted? It's found by DSG.
The team fight with the Rumble Amumu, too good. I don't know how much more often we'll see this guys get their hands on this Rumble as Fake God 11, 1 in 9, syncing up beautifully with Zeyzal every team fight we saw as the Equalizer makes sure this one's not a 1-1, it's a 2-0 and it goes in favor of Disguised.
NACL, Tomio, Fake God, they've walked this road before. Now with Fresh Town alongside them, they'll look to do it again. DSG advance.
And I gotta say, that was dominant. Again, AOE, like, talking with a lot of teams behind the scenes, they really feel like every team in this playoff, they have their own identity, and they can play it well. And we saw a couple moments of AOE. They knew how to play with the Scion. They made some nice decisions with the Ziggs. Will was ahead, but in the end, it is Fake God's Rumble and a team fight between him and Zeyzal that was way too damn good, and AOE just could not handle it.
He got Rumble twice in a row, and the result was the same each time, Cubby. Once we started piling in to those 5v5s, one well-placed Equalizer is all it would take, and it helps even more that you have Zeyzal there who's locking them down with the bandage toss. He could double up on that Curse of the Sad Mummy. It was lockdown city, and you were forced to burn.
I really love the Amumu pick this game. I think that there is a lot of value that Amumu brings into Rakan in that isolated matchup as a support. But also, the real reason you pick Amumu always, it's going to be that ultimate. And the ultimate, combining that with Equalizer, was massive for Disguise and made sure that this was a clean 2-0 in their favor, man. Disguise looking good today as that completes our first round. All 2-0s in our first round of playoffs.
All 2-0s, yeah. Every single, even yesterday's games with the TLC versus MU, Fear versus Wildcard, both of those 2-0s as well. We're just off to the races in round number 1. But with that, DSG taking a 2-0 victory. Pat yourselves on the back. It's gotta feel good. We want to hear from them, so we're going to take a moment to throw it over to short break. When we return, Mad Magical will have an interview on the other side with our winners. The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive.
Hello, and welcome in. It's time for the Verizon post-game interview. I'm Magical, and I'm joined in by the mid laner of Disguise. It is Young after a dominant 2-0 performance. Gotta ask, how's it feel?
It feels good. We had a good week of scrims, and I think it showed in our matches, so yeah, it feels good.
Did, and you remain undefeated on a Akali as well. Yeah, at least in the summer split, you have yet to lose on that champion. So I want to ask, like, the reasoning behind why you've been putting so much attention onto this Akali. Well, it feels like nobody else really has.
I don't know. I'm really comfortable on it, and I just think I'm good on it. And if it looks good, I'll take it away. So.
All right, I mean, that's fair. That's a fair answer. So let's kind of look at this 2-0 and what it really means for the context of playoffs. So winning this one means that you will be moving forward in round 2. You've knocked down AOE Gold. I believe you are going to be facing up against FlyQuest Challengers. So how do you feel about that matchup in particular?
I'm pretty excited because honestly we didn't have the best matches against them in the regular season, but I'm excited to play them where it like really matters, and I think we should show up. We've had lots of good practice, so I'm just excited for tomorrow's match.
Yeah, I mean, I am excited for it as well. Obviously, if you were able to win that one, that means you move forward. So I want to ask, how has it been? Like, your experience so far playing with Disguise as a team, with 3 of the players having won the spring split. How does it feel to kind of slot in with this team?
It was a little bit tough adjusting in the beginning, but I think I found like my voice on the team and just like my role. So it's been a smooth experience, I think.
Okay, and I kind of also want to touch on one thing. We were talking about this just before the interview. The Rumble pickup here for Fake God. You kind of highlighted it, I think, well. Maybe it was a little too good from you guys. So,
yeah. I think teams are probably going to be scared of it. I don't know if he's going to get it again, but you know, he performed really well today. So I think teams will be scared of it for sure.
All right, what do you think is more important though? Fake God's Rumble or your Akali?
I mean, I am undefeated on Akali. I guess he's undefeated on Rumble, but I think they're both equally important. But I think teams need to put respect on both. So.
All right, that's a fair answer. All right, and then kind of looking forward towards the entirety of playoffs. How confident do you feel with this, guys? We have talked about it many times where your team had a lot of 1-1 splits during the regular season, but towards the end of the season, you guys I think were 7-1 in your last 4 matchups. So, is that kind of how you guys are feeling going into playoffs? Like, you guys feel really confident?
Yeah, I feel really confident. Our scrims are going well. We recognize a lot of patterns in our losses, specifically some champions we always lose against, and we figured that out. And honestly, I'm pretty confident. Like, everyone plays well on stage. There's no like stage nerves, so I'm just excited to play.
That's good to hear. And I'm gonna call it Disguised, your owner of the team, Disguised Toast. He did say that the goal here is not only just to do well in playoffs, but to win playoffs. How confident do you guys feel that you are going to be the #1 team at the end of all this?
I'm pretty confident. I think it's pretty dumb if you aren't confident, if you're playing not to win the whole thing. So I hope we don't let Toast down. I really think we can win the whole thing. So.
All right, who's going to be the biggest competition
though? TLC or FlyC, obviously.
You got to choose one. I'm putting you on the spot. You've got to choose one right now.
I'll take it one by one. I think Fly might be the biggest competition.
Oh, okay. And you're facing them next, so
yeah.
Why do you think they're going to be a bigger competition than TLC?
Because we play them next.
You know what? Fair answer. I'll give you that one, Young. All right. And before I let you go celebrate with the team, any shout-outs you want to give?
Obviously the Patreon, $5. You get a lot of stuff with it. It pays our salaries, so just subscribe, $5. And shout out Meech as well, playing on insanely high ping. I think it's like 450, so.
All right, well, thank you, Young. It's always good having you. And don't forget, everyone, subscribe to the Disguise Patreon. It helps out the players as well as subscribing to this channel here at LCS_Challengers. But, Young, we will let you go celebrate with the team. I'm going to bring back in Desrex and Cubby. We can round out the day. And, gentlemen, it was a quick game. Quick day. 2 zeros across the board for round 1. No variation from that one. So if we get to bring up the bracket, we can see how that actually leads over towards our next days here, Desrex.
And I am very, very surprised. I was expecting today both games to go to 3. So to see the way these played out, FlyQuest performing phenomenally against someone that was their kryptonite, excuse me there. DSG performing up to expectations. Wow, I'm really just slipping on my words right now. But
it's okay. It's the end of the day, Desrex. Don't worry.
It's the end of the day.
Why don't we let Cubby mess up his words?
No. I want to mess up my words a little bit more because I am very, very excited for the TLC versus Fear matchup. I've obviously been very hyped up on Shochi, but that's his biggest competition right there to go against someone like Harry. So now I can stop stumbling and let Cubby stumble.
Also, a rematch of the 3rd versus 4th teams that we had in spring, as it was TLC and Fear that snuck into the top 4 and played the first match there. As I gotta say, I think today was a little bit less boring than yesterday, but still pretty boring. I'm waiting for the spice, man.
Surprisingly so. I'm gonna be right there with Cubby. I'm a little surprised too. I had all these plans for this new game show that was gonna make you both suffer.
But we did have that FlyQuest comeback, and that was a banger.
Yeah, it was.
That was pretty awesome.
It was. That was a good game too. They're probably our closest game of the day, but that is going to do it. That is going to be all the games. And also in the bottom, we did see that EGC will be facing off against AOE for their tournament lives, as well as Maryville facing off against Wildcard. Only 2 of those teams will move forward. 2 teams will be knocked out and unfortunately have an early vacation So before we go and celebrate anything, any farewells that you'd both like to give, let's start with you, Cubby.
I'll see you tomorrow. I don't know. Congrats to everyone who 2-0'd because they were supposed to give him seeding.
All right, you suck at this. Eric, you try.
I want to give a farewell to Fate Gods Rumble. They showed it too early. We're never gonna see it again. Goodbye. It was an awesome champion. It was great while it lasted, but farewell.
Yeah, thank you. There we go. That's better. That's how you do a farewell, Cubby. All right, and we're going to bid farewell to everyone else. But before we do, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Turo. The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car sharing marketplace. Go over to Turo.com. You can find an awesome car for just about any occasion that you can rent. Make sure Turo.com, check it out as well. Everyone else, we are going to end our day. We'll be back tomorrow for more action here in playoffs. And to top everything off, to end the day, we're going to raid the channel you see on your screen. Gamer Girl is who we're going towards. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.